welcome back to Naturally Lit Podcast. And what this podcast is about is just to share relatable conversations on what it is that what it is that we go through on a daily basis and how we can achieve that naturally, meaning some people, when it's a tough day, they have to go have a drink. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with having a drink if you're doing everything in moderation. But if you're abusing it, where you're like, today was stressful, I gotta have a drink. Let's focus on changing that and turning into you would like to have a drink, maybe not at that time. So if it's a time where life is stressful or work is stressful, and you're like, you know what, this is the time I would typically drink, but you're getting the habits of disciplining yourself to not have to do it when you feel like you need it, but to just do it when you're being social and having fun versus relying on it. So that's what this channel is all about, is just doing things naturally lit. I can go out to a bar, I could go to a club, I could go on a vacation, and I can do everything and have a good time sober and still be around other people. Or I can have a drink and partake. But right now, when I put liquor in my body, it does the complete opposite of what I think it's gonna do. So I just been leaving it alone for a while until I feel like I've healed. And also even outside of me feeling like I've healed, where people that I believe in their opinions that are close to me that know, hey, you've been getting a little wild when you've been drinking. When I'm around those type of people, and they're like, you know what, you had a drink the other time, and you were a completely different person. That's the type of feedback that I'm looking for. But that's not what the conversation is about today. So what the conversation is about today is, I don't know if you guys ever been put in a situation where you keep repeating an endless cycle. It could be something as simple as a phone company. I know before I have been with Sprint, I've been with T-Mobile, I've been with Verizon, I've been with Cricket. So I went through several phone plans, and I would always try to find, a phone plan that's better in my budget, and always trying to switch to the better thing, which is fine. It is okay to, if there is a better promotion, to change it. But what I find myself doing is anytime I try to change it, maybe it's for a financial situation where I'm trying to cut back on some costs, or, they're doing a great phone deal, like the new iPhone just came out. So there's all these plans offering new promo deals, turn this phone in, get another phone for free. Because of that, if I was to change plans every single time someone was promoting something or something new came out, I always found myself going back and switching to another plan. And then it was like a never ending cycle where I wasn't really saving any money. I ended up paying more, and I ended up regretting it. So that's just a small little example that came to me. But I know I've been in this situation, and I've been working on how to not get in that situation. And to keep going back and forth. Like if I lose a job, or I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm always applying for another job, applying for another job, applying for another job. And I'm not saying don't, because the job that you're working is your first investor, no matter what it is you're trying to do in life. If it's a wedding you're planning for, if it's a business you're starting, if it's just doing your day-to-day life, one thing we all have in common, no matter where we are in our life, is that we do need money. Money fuels us. Literally gives it. That's how we get the food that we put in our body. That's how we get the roof over our head, the vehicles we drive. It's all fueled by money. So we do have to make money. So with us having to make money, the point that I'm trying to make right now is that when we are always trying to figure out all these different scenarios on how we can better ourselves out of a certain situation, but we find ourselves still moving the same way. That's more so what I'm trying to get at. So if you know that your electric bill is high, and then you switch to another company, but your electric bill is still high, it's not because of the electric company that you're with. It's because of the budgeting that you're doing when it comes to your electric bill, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to think of a really good scenario to really break it down, but essentially where I'm at right now is I found myself repeating the same cycle. I wanted that to stop. It had to stop. It was becoming tedious. I was becoming overwhelmed. It was stressing me out. I needed this cycle to stop. So what one of the things that I've done, and one of the cycles for me was business. I would pick up a business and I would put it down. I started wholesaling. I started um, Airbnb. I started event centers. I've started podcasts. I've started photography, and the list goes on and on. And I got tired of that. And I used to think, like, oh, I'm not built for either of those. And that wasn't the case. The case was a lot of times it wasn't that I was starting this business, I got this business off of the ground. For example, I got the Airbnb business off the ground, and then something happened. Maybe I went bankrupt, or maybe I, made a bad deal, or whatever the case may be, and I failed in that moment. It wasn't anything even like that. It was me trying to start all of them at the same time. It's because I gained so much knowledge, and I believe it's called the silver something. I can't think of it right now. Where shiny object syndrome. That's what it's called. Shiny object syndrome. And essentially, what that is when you see something that's appealing to you, you decide to go for it. But then not realizing that it takes time to build everything, and it takes time for you to become good at your craft. So it takes time for you to also essentially make the goal or money that you want, and to be, say you have a mentor or someone that you, this shiny object that you've seen someone else was expressing how they were able to achieve it, or that's the lifestyle they have. It takes time, and that's the part where I'm getting at, where I had to realize what helped me. What One of the first steps that I did was to sit down, really focus on what it is that I want to do. What is something that's lucrative for me, that I can make money if we ever do face another pandemic? What is something that is also fulfilling to me, meaning that I enjoy doing it, so it's not necessarily work? Because if I am going to branch off and work for myself, it has to be something I'm passionate about. Because if I feel like, oh, I gotta go do this, then I'm not gonna want to do it. So with that, I sat down. I spent time with myself, away from social media, away from friends, away from family. Not too long. I didn't necessarily isolate myself where I wasn't, wanting to be around people, because that's not good either. But I was giving myself a time where, like, I just wanted to focus on my own thoughts. Like, I'm surrounded by everybody else's thoughts. Social media, you wake up first thing in the morning, get on your phone. Social media, all this stuff is going on. I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about that. And now that's on my mind. And then I'm supposed to be trying to figure out how to scale business or start a business and work on myself. But then I'm thinking about other stuff. And then you got family, lifestyle. It just all piles up into a big chaotic mess sometimes. But after me sitting down and doing my due diligence within myself of what it is that I want to do, I decided to go all in on one thing. And going all in on one thing is what is getting me to the next level. I'm not at the place where I want to be right now, and I don't think I ever will be, in a sense, because I'm always the type of person I am. I'm always going to have a new goal. I'm always going to feel like I haven't reached the success that I want, because I get fulfilled by new achievements. And because new achievements fulfills me, it's never going to be enough, unfortunately. But because of that, on a back end of that, we also have to understand when we are meeting certain goals and when we are seeing success, and cherish and celebrate the small wins. And that's what I'm getting at. So I've been celebrating my small wins, and with me going in and internally working on myself, I've been able to see some of the growth that I have mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the above. So once you sit down and go all in on one thing, when I tell you that will, because if you put, I don't know if you guys read the secret, or if you watched the video, and they kept talking about the secret to success, the secret to having the best life that you want. What exactly was the secret? And what I took away from that movie is desire. When you desire something, you are going to eat, sleep, and breathe it. So if I desire to get braces, I'm going to be looking up all the ways I can try to afford it, the type of braces, the process, the orthodontist, the doctor, the begin, the after, the middle. I'm going to literally put all that I can into looking it up. And I guarantee you, with me putting all that time into it or putting money to aside for it, because I know how much it's going to cost for braces, I know if I'm going to try to finance it or if I'm going to pay out of pocket, because I know that what I'm expecting to kind of go through, even though things can come up and I'm not prepared, we can't be prepared for everything. I have a general idea, and just having a general idea and going all in on it, you're going to get braces. You're going to get the house you want. I believe in manifestation. That's why whatever I say out my mouth, I try to make sure I mean it, because it can happen. And we all know a lot of people that will sit there and just complain, complain, complain about their situation. And I'm the wrong person to complain to be honest. I'm the wrong person, because if you're complaining to me, I'm built and wired to help you come up with a solution. And sometimes I'm just such of a nice person that I'll even try to help you come up with the solution and achieve the solution. That's the type of person I am. I'm not just going to be a talk it and don't walk it. Like, I will follow through on whatever it says that I'm going to do, because I said I'm going to do it. And a lot of people don't understand that. So with that, if you know what you need to do in your situation, you know that you're tired of dealing with certain things, but you have people that's in your corner that's trying to help you better yourself, but you're so stuck in your head that you can't fathom how to even move different. So yeah, you're like, oh, I'm strategizing, I'm coming up with all these plans. But if you were to sit down and write every single plan out that you just recently came up with, I 9 times out of 10, it's probably the same plan and just worded another way, essentially. Really, it probably is, because I know a lot of people, and I've even been there, which is why I feel comfortable to explain how I'm able to get out of it. Where I'm like, you know what, I did this before. I tried to go left, and left took me way out of whack. So why not try going right? Or I went right, right took me way out of whack. Why not go north? And essentially, you can still do that within, if it's with your life, you can still, it's, if it's, I'll start with a business. If it's with a business, you can still try these different angles within the same business. You can, and if it's related to your household or just something that you're dealing with, money wise, health wise. For example, I have a gluten allergy, and I found out I had a gluten allergy through stool sample. I found out to get a stool sample going through the holistic care, taking supplements, getting blood work done. If I would have kept going the traditional route with medicine, I would have never known. No one offered a stool sample to me. No one did this. But what I did consistently with my holistic care is, one, I looked up the holistic care. That was the first step. I found out about it. I was like, there has to be another way. I have to get to the root cause of it. And we don't get to the root cause of our problems with our health. We don't get to the root problem with our causes with our life, our business, and we have to go to the root. So I literally contacted a holistic care doctor, booked an appointment, went in there, explained everything. They asked me thorough questions as far as, what kind of detergent are you using? What are you eating? What, just your environment, your household, your mental health. They ask you all these important questions that you don't see on the intake form when you go to traditional medicine. No, they're quick to be like, what's your symptoms? Okay, here, take this medication, and then you're out of the office within 15 minutes. Even though holistic care was expensive and I spent a lot of money, I feel so much better, and my lifestyle has changed. So I went to the holistic doctor. Then from there, I tried different supplements. I tried different foods. I cut certain foods out. It's just so many things that I've done, all within holistic care. But if I would have kept trying this, that, and that has nothing to do with it, I probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere where I am today. And my stomach used to swell up. I used to look like I was like 8 months pregnant. That's not normal. I was like, why am I eating? I'm eating a cheeseburger or I'm eating pasta, and then right after eating it, my body would swell up and I would look like I'm pregnant. That's not normal. Your body doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's something that's causing that. Let's figure out what that is. So for me, my body doesn't have what it needs to break it down. So I stopped consuming it. Your body doesn't have what it needs to do certain things, but you're still consuming it. I know that might not make sense for a lot of you guys, But if you really just sit there and think about it, a lot of the stuff that you're doing, it doesn't make sense for you to continue to do it, but you continue to consume it because it feels good. A cheeseburger feels good. Pasta, macaroni, cheese, oh my gosh. Macaroni and cheese, Thanksgiving's coming up. Macaroni and cheese ain't the same now that I switched from gluten noodles. It's just not, unfortunately. I haven't found it out there. If it is, anybody knows, put it in the comments because I would love me some good macaroni and cheese, but it's not. And the point that I'm getting at is that when you keep consuming and doing the same thing and you realize it's not getting you somewhere, at what point are you going to look in the mirror and like, you know what, this hasn't been working for me. Maybe I should listen to that person that I trust, that always has my back, is always in my corner to do this. Why are we fighting the ones that's like, hey, I see you, I see the outside package of you. Sometimes take their advice. And if you don't trust their advice, that's fine. You can't trust everybody's advice. Who do you trust? Or if you don't trust anyone, trust yourself. A lot of times we don't even trust ourselves, and that's sad. So I'm not here to make anyone feel bad about themselves. I'm here to encourage you guys to. It was hard. I had someone tell me, "Oh, that sucks that you can't eat this. That sucks that you can't do that." I couldn't be you. You're right. You couldn't. But you saying that doesn't make me feel better because I want to eat macaroni and cheese regular. I wish I could just go to a restaurant and not have to ask them, "Do you have a gluten-free menu?" Or I wish I could just go shopping and not have to look at certain ingredients to see if it has wheat in it. I would love to do that. But no, I literally just bought flour the other day because I didn't look at the ingredients. It was on a gluten-free aisle. So I was like, oh, gluten-free aisle, it's safe. I got home, I was eating it for 2 days, and I was like, I feel weird. I went to go look at the back of the ingredients. It had wheat in it. But because I got tired and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this for face value. You can't always do that. You always gotta do your research, and you always gotta try to figure out what's right for you and what you should consume. So to wrap this up, what I recommend for everyone, what I'm doing and what I have done and I'll continue to do for myself, that's helping for me to get from here to here to here instead of always applying to jobs over and over again, knowing that I deep down inside I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I was so scared to get in front of the camera. I was so scared to push my brand. I was so scared to put myself out there. We have to put ourselves out there, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, especially if you're trying to work for yourself or whatever. If you're dating, you're not going to meet the person you want by sitting in the house. I mean, unless you're just always on these apps, that's fine. But do you ever plan on going out there? And you might meet authentic people or gain authentic friendships if you just put yourself out there. Put yourself out there in a way is is a great representation of who you are and what you have to stand for. And you might actually find the partner you want, the career you want, even the job you want, or friends that you want. So with that, I've been focused on putting myself out there. I've been focused on cutting down to one thing and really focusing in on how this one thing can help me build either multiple streams within that one thing or figure out problem solvers with that one thing versus like, no, that's not working. I'm going to go try this. So that's what I'm working on, and to not over talk myself because I like to talk, so I know I can. I'm going to get off here, but I will leave you with just knowing that I'm doing this too. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. There's no 3 steps and this will happen. I can't guarantee anything. All I can say is that if you take a step and then another step and another step in the same direction consistently, you will get to your destination. Okay? So until next time, go be great.